Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. All praise to the Most High, Mashiach H.O.I. Priest Sabak.
Brother Nala.
Brother Nala on the camera, and we back at it, Nala. All right. We coming to y'all with another movie review. All right, it's been a while. What has been, Nala?
Since July of last year.
Yeah, but about almost a year. 2 months shy, 3 months shy of a year. So we coming at y'all with another movie review, and y'all already know. I by popular demand, by popular request. All right, we breaking down the movie Sinners tonight. All right, tonight. So spoiler alert, of course. If you have not seen the movie Sinners yet, I know it's popular. It's sold out in a lot of theaters. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch the movie, then come back and watch the review. All right, so you can get understanding of what we bringing out. We're gonna go into quite a few things. I don't know, this might need a part 2 now. This might be we always talk about it in classes and camp and stuff. This might need an actual part 2 or just a commentary. But you know, of course, I'm gonna go in on some of the stuff I can remember. It was a lot. I can't remember everything. It was a lot, so we'll revisit some things. So spoiler alert, watch the movie, then come back and watch this review if you haven't seen it yet. So we're gonna get right into it like we normally do. We're gonna go from the beginning of the movie through the movie into the end. You know, when in the opening scene, all right, they were talking. Right, it's just so much, man. Right? They were talking and they made a statement about they was going into the, you know, old rituals of our people. You know, from the South, what they call it, roots.
Right.
And you know, they always go back to back to Africa. But they were saying how all these customs and rituals and traditions amongst our people, it heals them and it brings good energy to them. But they also brought out, with all that good, it also brings the evil. And they put the red eyes in the background lurking. Like, and that's all scripture. This movie is nothing but scripture. From beginning to end. From the first opening scene to the last final singing scene. Like the double last scene. Because they had 2 last scenes. But in Revelations, it tells us, and I'm paraphrasing, it says that where righteousness is, Satan's seed is there also. I'm roughly paraphrasing, right? So, us as being a righteous people on the earth and trying to do righteousness, good is going to always show up. It tells us that in Revelation. It says, the seed of evil is always there. Good. I'm paraphrasing. I'll bring the scripture out in camp or sit down, right? This is a commentary. So, it's letting you know from the opening scene, all that righteousness that we have as a people, they saying from a ritualistic standpoint, we're saying, whenever we tap into the Spirit of the Most High, it, you know, brings righteousness into us. And some of our people, even with some of their rituals and customs, they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. Like I tell you in Romans, right? So our people are naturally spiritual. They may not always know the ways of the Most High, but they're spiritual and they bring good energy. But with that righteousness and good energy, Satan is going to always be there also. All right, so it opened up with that. So we got to understand as a nation of people, and our struggle for righteousness and do the right thing before the Most High Yahweh, or even without fully knowing the knowledge, Satan is always going to show up. Every time we try to do something right and good, and even if we don't know the truth, and we trying to move right, the devil going to come in there. Anything from Black Wall Street to Rosewood. It may not be the truth and us serving the Most High, but we're trying to do something good together for us as a people. Rosewood, they try to have all black businesses, a peaceful, loving black town. Esau got to come in and slaughter, make up an excuse and say the black man raped the white woman, and then come and destroy the whole town. Same thing with Black Wall Street. When they said a black man whistled at a white woman on the elevator or whatever, just any stupidity.
And that was a ploy. That was all set up.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right, just like Emmett Till. And it's funny, the movie Sinners took place in Mississippi.
Right.
Just like Emmett Till. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he whistled at a white woman, an excuse to just come and beat Because Emmett Till was smart.
Right.
And what happened was, when you look into the story of Emmett Till, not to go off the topic, but to get on topic, when you look at the story of Emmett Till, them Edomites were kind of upset because he was a city boy from up north. He was smart, he was bubbly, he was well spoken,
right.
so they didn't like that. Right? You supposed to be yes sir, and you know. But Emmett Till, to be so young, he was well spoken.
Right.
He was intelligent. Who learned you that, boy?
Yeah.
So they didn't like
coming
that
from
either.
Chicago down.
From Chicago down. Right?
Yeah.
Because just like, I don't want to jump the gun, but just like there was a scene where Michael B. Jordan playing Stack and Smoke. Remember, he said Chicago is nothing but Mississippi with tall buildings.
God.
Because a lot of, when you check a lot of the background of our people in Chicago, they come from Mississippi.
Right.
A lot of our people, they migrated straight up.
Right.
Just like
the Mississippi River goes all the way up, so
right,
they follow the
up,
river.
Right.
Yeah.
So they migrate, they follow the river.
Yeah.
Just like in New York, you get a lot of our people that's from North and South Carolina.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of almost like Detroit, they get a lot of people from Alabama.
Right.
It's like almost, Tariq was bringing it out.
Yeah.
It's like almost like they take a straight path up.
And a lot of Louisiana, Texas, that's California.
That's California, right?
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of our people in the southern, they come from the southern states and they scatter to our different parts of the country.
Right.
So he said it ain't nothing but Mississippi with tall buildings.
Yeah, God.
Right? And Mississippi is Mississippi.
Right.
With the cotton fields.
Right.
Country,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But back to the fact. Back to the fact of the matter. When you check it out, they point that out. It's always that evil is following. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, from Rosewood to Black Wall Street. Even the example I gave with Emmett Till. You know what I'm saying? Even though this may not have been the truth, but anything right our people trying to do, here come Esau and the devil. Right? So the wickedness is always going to be there when you try to establish righteousness.
Right.
Until Yahweh Shai set up the whole kingdom, right? A lot of noise out here.
Yeah.
Right, it's a business.
When it's right, this is prove what you said. When righteous things are spoken, all of a sudden, the demons jump on them, they don't even know it.
Right.
Just yapping over nothing.
The loud demon jump on them and they're talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, it opened up with dynamic.
Right.
With that dynamic. So like I said, this movie is biblical from start to finish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, there was another scene where they was in the church, they were talking, and the pastor, which was Sammy's father,
Right.
he made a statement, something about the Lord makes us fishers of sinners.
Right.
Like I said, even from the church, our people coming from the church in a Baptist background, they have that zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. It's all scripture. Yahweh Shai said, follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. He said, I didn't come to save the righteous, but the sinners into repentance. So when we go out to teach the word in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, we are fishers of sinners.
Right.
All right, to repentance. Right, so it's all spiritual that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, you know, two strong, what they call alpha male. I don't really like to use that term.
Right.
I'm also like to use the term man of the Most High.
Right.
But, you know, alpha male, you know what I'm saying? That spirit coming together to make this movie, it was that power. And it was always, I noticed what they did, they made sure to put the word in there as much as they could. Even if they didn't quote it, they had a scene symbolizing the word.
Right.
This movie is all biblical. Right? So, going on, next point. So basically, fast forward, Michael B. Jordan, he played two parts, Smoke and Stack. They were twin brothers, whatever the case may be. They come from, if you notice, they got back to Mississippi, they were cocky.
Right.
Like cocky, gangster type dudes. But they had to slip in there. They were working for Al Capone in Chicago. It's always some kind of white dominance.
Right.
Even though this movie, I would say, it was mainly about 80 to 90% of that strong black male, so-called alpha male presence in the movie.
Right.
And with the script, but they got to slip. You got to be subordinate to the white man somehow. Right. So they mentioned real quick, and I caught that. Yeah, they were working for Al Capone.
Right.
So these guys are some cocky you know, twin gangster Negroes that's for their own people.
Right.
But they came from Chicago working for Al Capone.
Right.
They still coming from under his influence.
Right.
But later on in the movie, they did throw a scene in there where they kind of had hustled the Irish and Italian mafia up in Chicago, and they fled down to Mississippi.
Right.
I may touch on that again later. But when they go, so fast forward, they go to buy this. They go to buy this juke joint. Guys talking about
just the devil.
Yeah.
He's trying to cut the word.
Right, where Satan is.
Right there. You demon.
There. But anyway,
shut up.
We gonna stay focused.
Right. Shut up. Yelling about nothing. And why do you gotta yell that?
Right. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's Satan, man.
Yeah.
But we're gonna continue on with this. See, this is why. Not for boasting or bragging rights, but our commentaries are unique because we do them generically.
Right.
We can go sit down somewhere quiet and private. I can do a whole lesson, bring out.
Yeah, in your home, you can do that in your home.
You know what I'm saying? I can take my notes and take it home, but it's real generic and impromptu. That's what makes it different. Not to say it's better than anybody else's review. It just is what it is.
Right.
That's kind of like a pattern me and Allah developed over the years. But back to the fact of the matter. So, when the Edomite clansman comes to show them the juke joint property that they're gonna buy. Right. So they're cocky Negroes, and they're talking to this white man like, yo. And when Esau, he tried to show them their gun and get slick, then they showed their gun, and they grabbed their knife and surrounded them. And he let that smoke go. That's symbolic to a lot of times. The white man backs down when he see you're not a coward. When he see you're not a scared Negro, he backs down because he used to having us in subjection and slavery. So I've seen a lot of times when you stand up to Esau, they might get a little shocked, but they be like, "Oh, this nigga ain't scared." And that's something that happens with life. People feed off of fear, and Esau definitely feeds off of fear. If our people showed that they didn't fear Esau, we would rise up as a nation. You know what I'm saying? So they had that dynamic in there. I said, Hollywood let them slip that in there. Oh, you sassing me, nigga? Right. But they were bold talking to the white clansmen.
Yeah. At no point did they show like fear or submission. Right.
Exactly. And I was surprised that they allowed that dynamic throughout the entire movie.
Right. There was no submission.
They never showed no direct submission.
Yeah.
They just threw in there that they work for Al Capone. Right. They had to throw some subjection.
Y'all niggas ain't gonna be that powerful.
Right. Exactly.
You're not independent. You know.
You got 99 ways to be a man, but what?
Yeah. Right.
One of them say you subject to us. I'm still throw it in there, right? And even with the white woman, but we're gonna get to that later. But he told the devil, he said, listen, this is where the race war element comes in, because it played out later. And I'm gonna tie that in later on. He said, listen, this is the last time we wanna see you. We paid the Klansmen the money, and he said, listen, this is the last time we want to see you. If any of you and your Klansmen show up around here anymore, we going to kill them. Right. Straight to the point. And that actually happened. Right. Which that brings in the race war element into the movie, right? Which brings me to something going on now. This whole thing with what's his name, Shadir Sanders?
Yeah, Shadir Sanders, Deion Sanders' son.
Yeah.
Right. Drafted in the NFL as a quarterback.
So basically, I just want to throw that in there. Michael B. Jordan, the twins, their characters were very bold and cocky throughout the movie. And they're saying that's why Shadir Sanders, he only got the fourth or fifth draft pick. Right. Because, like Tariq was going into that. The NFL, sports, Hollywood, they don't like when you're a dominant spirit. So they call it cockiness and arrogance. It's, no, you're just a confident, strong, so-called black. You're not prudent. You're not the blind side. Some big old Negro that Sandra Bullock got to come in.
A big doofus.
A big doofus, you know what I'm saying? When you, and he comes from a strong father. Right. So he got a strong presence. But they always like you to be subject. And you heard about how they played that trick on Shadir Sanders.
Right.
Somebody called him and said it's going to take a little bit longer for his draft pick.
Right, right.
And he was like, how did they get the number?
Right.
Only the NFL had that.
Right.
So they like, look, nigga, you too cocky, so we're going to make you the 4th or the 5th draft pick. Right? So I just noticed Ryan Coogler made sure to have Michael B. Jordan's character, both characters twins, very cocky and confident and dominant in the movie. Right? So reading on, fast forward to the scene where the Edomite vampire, which represents Satan.
Right.
He was the figurehead of being a spiritual demon, and all the other vampires. He represents Satan. The other vampires represents the demon. Right. He goes to the Edomite house. The Gadites are hunting him down because they know he's Satan, and they want to kill him.
Right.
And that's Genesis 49. Remember, Genesis 49 says, God, a troop shall overcome you.
Right.
The troop is the United States Cavalry, the Edomites that came here and slaughtered God and took their land. And what did God say about them? They speak with a forked tongue.
Right.
But them hunting down that Edomite, which he represented Satan, the top demon, and they was trying to kill him.
Right.
And they even told the other Edomites, why did you let him in your house? He's not who he seems.
Right.
Like, and that's heavy too. Like, Esau can't trust Esau.
Right, right.
Right, that's Mark 3:22, where Yahushua said, if Satan's kingdom be divided, it cannot stand.
Right.
God was telling the Edomites, even you can't trust your own people.
Right.
And he was saying, look, he's not who he seems to be.
Right.
In other words, that's going into how Esau came over here and tried to act friendly with God.
Right.
And once he entered into his home, into this land, God saw he's not who he seems to be.
Right.
Remember, I always like the quote from that book about Chief Nez.
Right.
Right. They said when certain tribes of God, they thought Esau was a two-legged dog. They thought Esau was an animal.
Right.
Because their viciousness, they thought no human being can be that vicious.
That can't be a human.
That can't be a human being. So they actually thought, because Esau smelled and the way they looked,
right.
And back then, you know, they would have excessive amounts of hairs on them.
They must have smelled horrible.
And at God said they must be two-legged dogs. They gotta be some kind of animal because Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce Indians.
Right.
That's, you know what I'm saying, when you read about that, and even the Boricua Indians,
right.
They took certain of the Spaniards and they would drown them to see if they were human.
Right.
They drowned them to see if they would stop breathing and die like a human being.
Right.
Because they said these got to be some kind of machines or animals.
Right.
They thought they were machines back then.
Right.
Because no human soul could be so vicious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So God was warning even Esau. He said, don't let him in your home. And remember, the Gadite said something about it's already too late.
Yeah.
They were saying, just like Esau, the spiritual home is America.
Right.
Right, it's like a spiritual home. This whole land was God's land.
Right.
Which was their home. But that was very spiritual. And Genesis 49 said they shall overcome at the end.
Right.
So they was trying to kill the top demon or Satan.
Right.
Because what? That represents God getting their vengeance in the end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they was like, they was hunting his ass down.
Yeah, God.
And they told the Edomites, y'all already finished.
Right.
And that goes deep. It goes deep.
And they had the clan robe in there in the house.
Right, they had the clan's robe in there, right?
Yeah.
And that goes deep because that's also letting like the other Edomites that was going to come to America, letting them know, listen, these founding fathers are evil as hell. Because remember, when the Irish and they had a lot of internal warfare amongst Esau also. Remember, the rich Edomites that got their money from slavery, they used to look at the Italian and Irish as dirt. You know what I'm saying? So God was letting them know, y'all can't even trust. There's division among y'all. Y'all can't trust each other. They came and conquered and destroyed our land, and then there's going to be fighting and evil and division among you. Satan can't trust Satan.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So they do the element of God in there, and then you had the element of Judah.
Right.
which is two of the most powerful tribes of Israel that really need to get their vengeance on Esau. All right, so fast forward, there was another scene when he was when he went to I think it was Stack or was it Smoke? When he went to get the Chinese people.
Stack.
All right, when Stack went to get the Chinese people.
Yeah.
And he had the beer in the truck.
Yeah.
And he told the little girl to watch the truck.
Yeah.
The Jake tried to come and jack the truck.
And the truck just pulled up. You can't make this up. So it's just trucks.
Right? Their version of a truck back then.
Yeah, yeah.
But he had the truck with the booze on it, the beer on it. He told the little girl to watch it.
Right.
And some Jakes tried to rob the beer off the truck.
Right.
And he came out to shoot the Jakes. But right after that scene was over, I don't know if you caught it now, loud. There was a little scene of some gold fringes hanging in the truck.
God, I saw that.
I was like, why would fringes be in a truck full of beer?
Right.
I don't know if Ryan Coogler them.
Yeah, he dropped a little jewel.
He threw that in there.
Yeah.
I was like, why fringes? And then the top that was over the truck, it's not like it had fringes hanging around it.
Right.
Because you have clothes and curtains and stuff that have fringes on them.
Right.
But he just threw a scene of fringes in there.
Right,
I was like, I caught that. It was real subtle.
Right.
But I say he just threw that in there behind Stack was after he shot the Jakes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So fast forward, they finally get to the juke joint. Right? They finally buy the juke joint. They going around town, getting everybody together to have this big grand opening of the juke. They getting all the talent and the people that's in the know, whatever.
Right.
So they finally get to the juke joint, and what I got from this scene, I know you probably got something from the scene too, from your perspective now, loud. They get to the juke joint and everybody's partying and having fun. So Stack and Smoke have a conversation about the money that's coming in.
Right.
And he's saying, I confused the two, but he's saying, look, they some of the people are paying with this Mississippi money and the tokens and food notes and all that. We need money. But then Stack, Smoke, whoever, he said, listen, man, just let them have fun. We'll eventually get the money. We'll start coming in, but just let them have fun. It's like, let our people come together and enjoy something, right? So they all coming together, they dancing, having a good time, music flowing. Dudes they smashing in the background. Chicks coming in, they having fun, right? So here comes like the scene where they took it to modern time. Where you start seeing the hip hop and the African dance and the Chinese dance and the different nations. So what I got from that is our music and culture and style has an influence on the whole world. Ryan Coogler threw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Also, like they try to say we get our music from here. No, a lot of these people get their inspiration and their music from us. And also what I got from that is we are the salt of the earth. Everybody want to be down with us and around us. And she showed how our culture goes through different generations. Because he led up to the Bloods and the Crips, and even when it's a Sexy Red, and hip hop,
twerking,
and then even when it's the other nations. So even good, bad, or ugly, our spirit and style, it wears off on everybody. It has an influence on the entire world because we are the salt of the earth. It's nothing but scripture. Into the music industry. You know what I'm saying? That could be a whole nother breakdown. Because it goes into elements of the music industry. But Ryan Coogler, he said, listen, he snuck that in there. Our music has an influence, our music and culture has an influence on the entire world. But also, as that scene was going on, the vampires, which represent Satan and the demons, they were approaching the juke joint. And then the whole juke joint burnt down. You know what I'm saying? Because the influence of Satan came in. But also, I don't even know if Ryan Coogler was going there, but that's also symbolic to the nuclear destruction.
Right,
All
God.
nations gonna be gapping.
Yeah.
Even 2/3 of our people.
Right.
And all the other nations, they gonna be burnt up in that damn nuclear.
God.
Right. I don't know if he meant that.
Or the spirit had it. The spirit half admit that, even if he didn't know it consciously. Yeah.
And it also that goes into you know, when our people are partying, the roof.
Yeah, the roof. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the mother effer burn. Burn, mother effer burn.
That's symbolic to how our parties and stuff be live.
Yeah.
We just got a lively spirit.
Yeah.
And everybody want to join in and cleave on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be black, but nobody want to be black. You know
they love our rhythm, but can't stand our blues.
They love our rhythm, but can't stand our blues. Right?
Yeah.
Got it. Right. So now, if you notice too, they were partying and having a good time, but then when Esau showed up, everything started going left. They start stomping on the floor.
Yeah.
And it just you can see the vibe change.
Right.
Right? Because the scriptures tell us, man, have no fellowship with them.
Right.
When you let Esau in, it's going to go left.
Right.
So as they approach the juke joint, the energy just shifted.
Right.
The demonic energy. They went from having a good time, turning up, you know, being unified, and even with not to jump the gun because I'm gonna get into her, but even with the Edomite woman that Stack was dealing with initially, right? She came, and remember they were skeptical to let her in.
Right.
They was like, you don't belong in here.
Right.
Right? And that shows us to trust our instinct. You know, Esau, no matter how nice, no matter if you had your little bedwench, Jake, your concubine, you smashed a white girl in college,
right?
You went on a date with a white girl from your job, you got some nookie,
right?
A lot of Jakes, I want to say at least have one white girl,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But you can't trust them,
right?
Even Tariq brings that out, like, you know, they try to throw that coochie on you to weaken you and something.
Right.
And they damn sure covered that dynamic in this movie. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get to her a little bit later on. But just showing when the Edomites showed up, the whole energy went left and wicked.
Right.
Right? And that's Sirach 12:10.
Right.
Right? Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Now remember, going back also, there was the scene, I think when they pulled up to their cousin or wherever, on the truck with the booze, there was a snake on it.
Right.
And remember, they killed the snake.
Right.
That was the opening. That was part of the opening scene also. Like, you know, we as a people, we gotta slay the snake as soon as we see it. As soon as they come in. So that Edomite woman, he had the spirit. He slayed the snake from the beginning. He told her, "Yo, get the fuck out of here." Yeah, but she weakened him. Right. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Oh, tell me you wasn't in love with me," and and this and that. So they call the Edomite woman Jake's kryptonite. Right. A lot of times, just like they show you in that movie Undercover Brother. Right. How did they get Eddie Griffin? They put an Edomite woman. Right. And Frontline Magazine years ago, they did an article on that, and they had research on how. Even, I wanted to get the source of this, but they have quoted how the CIA will even train white women and have them go out to purposely date Jake. Right. To cause confusion and to weaken the black man. So you will sacrifice your own women just to destroy us as a people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Frontline Magazine brought that out in an article years ago. So never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So now, fast forward, how did they get into the juke joint? The white woman ended up turning. You know what I'm saying? The so-called white woman that was dating Stack, right? And was Stack damn lovebird Edomite woman. Right. They got in through her. Right. Because what? She went out and she tried to talk to the other Edomites, and they vampired her ass. Yeah. You're one of us. What the hell you doing in there with the niggas? Right. Now we're gonna send you back in there, and you're gonna infiltrate. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how. Right. That's how. Like it tells you in Sirach 12 also, it says, though they humble themselves and go crouching. And that's literally with the white woman.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
would crouch down on your ass and do you know what.
Right.
Because you see how vulgar she was talking.
Like Shannon Sharp woman.
Yeah, like Shannon Sharp, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It said, though they crouch down and humble themselves,
Right.
the white woman will get down and do whatever, because she want to do it anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She'll do it, but just that's all Satan to suck Jake in.
Right.
Because she linked up with her Edomite counterparts. They turned her into a vampire, which really, when you see how Ryan Coogler slipped in there, she was always the devil.
Right.
She was always really the infiltrator.
Right.
Like that Satan was going to use, you know what I'm saying? Whether knowingly or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they fast forward. So now the devil wants to come in.
Right.
And that's symbolic to how Esau hate for us to be unified amongst ourselves, having a good time.
Right.
They got to get in there some kind of way. Like a lot of brothers and sisters say on their jobs, if it's too many blacks, Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, Israelites, you know, getting to know each other, being friends, talking to each other,
right,
gathering around at lunchtime, Esau don't like that.
No.
Don't be fraternizing with each other on the job.
Y'all's unified strength is a threat to him.
Right, it's a threat to him. They don't even like that on the job.
Right.
These niggas getting along too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's energy.
Right. So, you know, it came into that spirit of, oh, they getting along with each other. Satan got to come in there somehow and break that up. You know what I'm saying? So, and even with like, you know, Black Panthers, even Nation of Islam, any so-called black organization, J. Edgar Hoover, there would never be a black messiah.
Right. Any
unified so-called black organization, Esau got to come in there and tear it down.
Right.
Even if he don't want no parts of it, he just can't let it exist. He got to get in there and send agents and break it up.
Right.
So that was symbolic to that dynamic too. So now fast forward, the demons, the vampires come down. So now they start transforming. Some of the people, they transform them. They transport Stack or whatever. So now when they come to the door, they have this conversation. The conversation is deep.
Right.
And they tell them, listen, you might as well join us. This world already left you.
Right.
So that's why I say it goes into the music industry, because a lot of times what they do, they tell our people, sell your soul.
Right.
You don't have nothing in this world.
Right.
You're not gonna make it. Nobody, you're a nigger. Nobody cares about you. Come and join with us.
Yeah.
We'll get you a record deals. We'll get you endorsements. That's why I say it's symbolic to the music industry.
Yeah.
So basically what they was trying to tell our people was, there's nothing for you in this world unless you join me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you join Satan and join with Esau. That's what it's really talking about. There's nothing left for you in this world.
Right.
So basically, society wants us to believe that we have no hope without Esau.
Right.
We have no hope without siding with the devil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the Most High said that in Malachi. He said, then shall you discern between the righteous and wicked.
Right.
Between those that serve the Most High, keeping the commandments, and those that don't. Sinners.
Right.
It's going to be a separation between the sinners and the righteous. So he told them, you have nothing left in this world unless you join Satan.
Right.
Satan said that to Yahushua in St. Luke 4.
Right.
He said, all these kingdoms I would give to you if you would bow down to me.
Right.
Like basically, ain't nothing left in this world for you.
Right.
You gotta come and serve me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even if it's not on a high demonic spiritual level on the left-hand side, that's how Esau runs this society. You niggas have nothing without me.
Right.
Which is the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So, and fast forward, the main vampire, which is symbolic to Satan, remember he said we want Sammy.
Right.
Sammy was short for Samuel.
Right.
Remember, Samuel is a prophet from the Old Testament. But the way I looked at that, and you know, Nala, you and other people that watch, is what don't get simple. No, that don't mean that, elder. This is what that means. To me, what I saw in the spirit, that can also be symbolic to Peter.
Right.
Because Peter's name was also Simon.
Right.
Simon, Samuel. Samuel is Shamya Allah in the Hebrew. Simon is Shemayawan.
Right.
It could be like a play on the name. Because remember, I think in Luke also, Yahushua told Peter, Simon, Simon, Satan have desired you that he may sift you like wheat.
Right.
Remember, Yahushua told Peter, Satan wants you. And who was Peter? He was the top disciple. All the servants of the Most High are important, but in the movie they kind of went into that dynamic, whether Kula meant to or not.
Right.
Right? Whether it was by accident or for real, but that was the same dynamic. The demon said, I want Sammy. And Yahushua told Peter, Simon Peter, Satan have desired you. That he may sift you as wheat. Now remember, Sammy was the son of the preacher. He represented that righteousness and the church, and the church, what? They're Christians. So they supposedly symbolize Christ.
Right.
So Christ is, the church represents Christ. Sammy represents like Simon Peter, right? That's kind of the dynamic I picked up. On purpose or spiritually by accident, right? So as the demons, the vampires are converting the demons, whatever the case may be. So now there was the scene with the Chinese wife and her husband.
Right.
Remember, she told her husband, "Let's get out of here."
Right.
She said, "We served our purpose.
Right.
Let's go now."
Yeah.
Basically, like this is their fight.
Right.
And that's symbolic to what? The nations only want to use us for what they can get from us.
Right.
But when all hell break out and Esau bring the hammer down on our people, these nations don't.
They said that's like almost like the Chinese restaurant. We said that because their business was in the black area.
Right. Exactly.
So they're like, look. The truth came up. We don't need these niggas no more.
Exactly. We don't need these niggas no more.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yes, get out of here.
Save ourselves because they business. And she literally said that.
Yeah.
She was like, we serve, I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, we served our purpose here.
Right.
And she's like, let's get away from these niggas. They, let them fight their own battle.
Right.
We don't have, nobody's on our side in that time but ourselves and the Most High Yahushua. Right? So, as it fast forward, but then once she realized she couldn't get out of there,
right?
Because they got her husband.
Right.
The Chinese man went out to the car and they attacked him and turned him into a vampire.
Right.
So now, now when she saw that she couldn't get out of there, remember she said that white devil.
Right.
She
right.
called the vampire that white devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's also symbolic to Esau gonna turn on these nations.
Right.
And these nations,
they gonna know.
They think that Esau just gonna be against us.
Right.
Right? But remember, and Obadiah says, because thou hast spoiled all the nations, even a remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
Salakia, and you got this whole tariff thing with China.
Right, exactly.
And Trump is so you got a lot of Chinese Moabites that starting to hate Esau now through Trump.
Right. Yeah, around my way the other day, I went there's this little Chinese shop. You know them little shops they got, they sell all kinds of stuff.
Right, knick-knack.
Knick-knack. I went in there, they sell these 100% cotton pajamas.
Right.
So I went to buy the pajamas because I got one set, but they're large, they fit, but I like that extra room.
Right.
So I said, let me see if they got an extra large. So I said, mommy, no extra large?
Right.
She said, no, she said, Trump, we have the ship in the water because of the tariff.
Yeah.
And we can't get the delivery.
Yeah, they can't get their goods, man.
And she said, Trump no good.
Yeah.
She said, basically she said the products are sitting in the middle of the ocean on the barges because of the tariffs. They're not letting them come into the ports.
Right.
So she was like, we probably got the merchandise, but it's sitting in the middle of the ocean.
Con. That's going to bring out their anger.
Trump no good.
Yeah.
So these nations going to realize, at first, if they can't beat them, join them.
Right.
All right, they turning on the niggas. The hell with the niggas. We made our money off them. We had our Chinese restaurants, our businesses. Notice what they had, a fruit stand.
Right.
A lot of Moab got fruit stands in our neighborhood too.
Right.
That was back in 1932 Mississippi. Right. But we made our money off the niggas. The white man coming down on them. Let's go. Let's flee. But when they see Esau turn on them, because Esau gonna be a vampire on your ass. He gonna put a tariff on your ass. It's all spiritual.
All spiritual.
You know what I'm saying? Then she turned and said, the white man's the devil.
Right.
All right? Oh man, the Most High even turned. So not only is he gonna turn Israel, but he's gonna turn the nations. And even if it's an Edomite with chinky eyes, because some of them come from the Mongols.
Undercover Edomites.
They undercover Edomites. So a lot of them, they the devil against the devil, right? So fast forward also, So you got the scene where the vampires finally rushed the juke joint. So they said everybody that's left in the juke joint, we're just going to convert all of them into vampires and demons. So they start fighting. They stabbing them with the stake. They trying to hit them with the garlic, shooting them, whatever. So the fight goes outside. Right now, you got the fight in the water with the top demon against Sammy. Right. Satan against Simon Peter. Right. But that's also Esau against Jacob. Right. That's also righteousness against evil. Right. That's also the race war. Right. That's also the kingdom of Satan struggling against the kingdom of the Most High. Right. But then you had the two twins fighting. You had Stack and Smoke fighting. You had Michael B's character fighting. That's Jake's struggle against himself. That's Jake's struggle between his righteous side and his evil side. So because a lot of times that was very deeply spiritual. Right. A lot of stuff, I don't know if Ryan Coogler meant it. Yeah. But it played out
the spirit had it. Yeah.
And we ain't reaching that, but this is what the spirit is bringing out. Other brothers and sisters might have different interpretations. But that represents the two main struggles with the so-called black man. Right. And not just with the Israelite man. Right. Our main two struggles is with ourselves and mainly this devil. Right. Because the other nations follow Esau. Right. They hate us too, but they're really under the influence of Esau. So really for Israel, especially Jacob, you know what I'm saying, especially Judah, but all the tribes, our two main struggles is with ourselves, with our own people, and Esau. Right. And sometimes the struggle, if you look at it symbolically, the two twins, their fight was like kind of rougher than Sam, because a lot of times our fight is worse with ourselves than it is with Esau sometimes. But I noticed, and they had the two fights going on at the same time. Right. And they didn't show none of the scenes. They just showed the two fights. So spiritually, Jacob is against Jacob, and then Esau is against Jacob. Right. So that's our two main struggles that we're fighting. We're like, brother, I love you. You my brother. Let's work together. Nah, nigga, fuck that. Right. Fuck that. I was watching this clip of this gangbanger in LA. Right. And he was talking about how gangbanging is all they got, just real ignorant. Right. And he was like, I don't want to hear that shit, because he was talking about you got brothers locked up that need help. Kanye and Drake did that benefit concert in LA. And he was saying, why can't some of that money go to the gangbangers that's locked up? And he's like, I don't want to hear that them gangbangers, they was banging, that's why they locked up. Right. But that's what it is, dumb nigga. Right. You know what I'm saying? You justifying the gangbangers so much that you don't realize them niggas are locked up because they were gangbanging. They were killing their own people, selling drugs, robbing, extorting, raping, whatever they was doing. Right. Making niggas check in, robbing them and killing them for their jewelry. So that's why they in jail. Why should they get help? You know what I'm saying? Right. Right. And he talking about real G's that no, these are niggas that destroyed their own community. So what are you talking about? So our biggest fight is ourselves, outside of Esau, is ourselves. That's where they had the two symbolic struggles going on at the same time. And remember, Esau and Jacob struggled in the womb. Right. Esau and Jacob struggled in the womb, and in Deuteronomy 28, he said his eyes should be evil towards his own brother. Right. So that's the two main struggles right there. Scripture again. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward, so now all the vampires are fighting. He finally kills the main vampire. Right. I think Sammy killed him, right? Right. Sammy put the stake in his heart. Right. And he killed the main vampire, which is Satan. That's Romans 16, I believe, starting at 19. Where the Most High said he will bruise Satan under our feet. Right. Shortly. Right. So he conquered the devil. Right. It showed Simon Peter or Samuel the prophet. Right. Whichever way you want to look at it. He conquered the devil. Right. But right before that, everybody starts saying the Lord's Prayer. Saying the Lord's Prayer, and the righteous side that wasn't turned into vampires or demons, they kind of start saying it first. Right. And then even the wicked side starts saying it. Right? So they would chant the Lord's Prayer, but that's symbolic to what? In the Lord's Prayer it says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Right. So that whole scene represented the end of Satan's kingdom. Right. and the kingdom, that kingdom come, that will be done.
Right.
That was the ending scene, the ending of Esau's world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Sammy and the top, what was the top demon name?
I forgot his name. I forgot his name.
So
Yeah.
Wes or something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Some common Edomite.
Some Edomite name.
Mississippi
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
But Sammy or Samuel, Shamialo or Simon,
Right.
Shemaiah one, they were fighting in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, in Luke the 16th chapter, it tells you about the rich man and Lazarus the beggar.
Right.
The rich man is symbolic to Esau.
Right.
Esau is symbolic to the devil.
Right.
The beggar is symbolic to Lazarus.
Right.
Jake or Israel, because we're on the bottom. The rich is ruling over us.
Right.
And in the parable it says there's a great gulf fixed. They were fighting in a body of water.
Right.
Which can symbolize the gulf.
Right.
There's a division between Esau and Jacob. There's a division between righteousness and wickedness.
Right.
We have to conquer the kingdom of evil so that the righteous kingdom can come in.
Right.
Right. They were fighting in the water, which symbolizes the gulf.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they were saying the Lord's Prayer. Now, after he conquered Satan, the sun started coming up. Right. Now this is when it gets a little deep. Right. I don't know if Ryan Coogler meant this or the Most High just put the spirit on the service to figure this out. Right. And the truck pulls off.
And the truck pulls away.
After they killed the serpent.
Right.
They killed the serpent on the truck.
Right.
Right. So, and then we just finished talking about him killing the main serpent, vampire demon. Sammy killed the main snake or serpent. Right. Right. So they the sun comes up. Right. So now in Malachi 4, it says the sun, S-U-N, of righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings. Right. It's talking about Yahweh, but the reason why it's S-U-N because it's referring to Yahweh as the light. Right. So that's when the sun came up and it burnt up and destroyed all the vampires. That's symbolic to Yahweh's second coming. Right. Because at Yahweh's second coming, the nuclear destruction is going to take place. Right. And it's going to, remember Zechariah says, like Terminator 2, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Right. Right. So that was symbolic to, you say the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He kills the main demon. The Lord shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly, right? Satan's killed and his power is defeated, right? And then the sun arises, and it rises up into heaven. Yahweh returns with the angels, and the nuclear destruction comes to burn up and destroy the wicked. Right there, that they all symbolize that in that one scene. Also, when you check it out, Smoke kind of almost, he kind of almost symbolized a Yahweh type figure also. Right. Because remember he kind of told Sammy like something like go back to the church. Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and remember going back to the beginning, remember in the opening scene, one of the opening scenes, the father preacher told Sammy, he said, if you keep going out there playing with the devil, you're going to bring him home with you. Right, yeah. So that's kind of like symbolic to like how Yahweh was telling Peter, Satan desire you to sift you like wheat. He kind of was saying, stay with the Most High, don't let Satan get you. Right. The father was saying Satan will get you. Right. So he almost, the father and Smoke kind of both symbolize like Yahweh type figures to Sammy. You know what I'm saying? And basically like, yo, go back to the Lord, leave these devils alone. Peter, the devil wants you. He want to sift you like wheat, but I prayed for you that you be restored. I'm paraphrasing, right? So, fast forwarding. So you know, the movie is winding down to the end, but you know, as they kill the vampires, and the next day comes, Smoke finds a cache of weapons. Now, and I believe he was the one that was in the military. Yeah. Something like that, right? So now, they go back to the scene where he told that Edomite that sold him the juke joint property, he ended up being a Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Right.
After saying it don't, the Klan don't exist.
The Klan don't exist no more.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's just like the grease balls try to say.
Yeah, ain't the
There's
mafia. Yeah, there's no mafia. Yeah.
There's no La Cosa Nostra. You made that.
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
Right, they try to say the Klan exists. That goes back to the Klan don't exist.
Right.
That's something like that movie, The Usual Suspects.
Right.
What's the best trick that Satan ever did? He convinced you that he don't exist.
Right.
Right. That's how Esau gets you.
Yeah.
There's no racism. We're racist.
Yeah.
We're equal opportunity society.
Right.
You know, the main way Esau gets you is by convincing you that something don't even exist.
Right.
Like you're making it up in your head. You're delusional.
Right.
Right. So after that, the Grand Dragon of the Klan, he doesn't know about the night before.
Right.
So after he sells them the property, he comes back the next day to kill them and take back the property and say there will never be a juke joint here.
Right.
So basically, like Onyx says, what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine.
Right.
I'm gonna kill you, take the property back, and keep the money you gave me.
Right.
Right. And I'm gonna bring my Klansmen to do it without hoods. So Smoke is waiting in the woods, and he starts chopping them down.
Right.
So that's symbolic to the race wars.
Right.
Because you got a strong alpha godly type man. Because Smoke and Stack, they were kind of godly men also.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they were just real.
Right.
That's another thing. One thing I like that Ryan Coogler, on a side note, one thing I like that he put in there, the movie was real raw.
Yeah,
it wasn't cutting. It was speaking. It was like speaking in real time, real talk.
That's why I'm glad brothers teamed up for that. Because if it had been Esau, it would have been watered down, man.
It would have been watered down. It was real raw with it. You know what I'm saying? So that scene probably should have been before the scene with the sun rising.
Right.
But then it wouldn't have made sense because it was the next day.
Right.
So it's kind of like it's going back. It's switching through time.
Right.
It's like going back to the race war.
Right.
Like, you know, maybe that's something that could have happened if the juke joint would have been successful.
Right.
And continuing, the Klan would have tried to come and take it back over. They would have wiped their ass out.
Right.
And then the vampires would have came. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he threw that race war scene in there because the Klan came to try to, you know, destroy these two strong black men's business.
Right.
And Smoke, because he wanted all the smoke. He wanted all the smoke with the racist Edomites.
Right.
He ended up killing all the Edomites.
Right.
Remember, he pulled out the Tommy gun and chopped all the asses down. Right. And he killed the main Edomite at the end, the Grand Dragon.
Right.
You know,
Satan.
He wanted all the smoke, and who the Most High going to use in the race wars? The Jakes that want the smoke.
Right. They're gonna be put to use instead of killing each other as bloody Crips.
Exactly.
You kill the real enemy.
Right, you're gonna go after real enemy. You're gonna want the smoke with Esau in that day.
Right.
Jake always talking about my ops don't want no smoke.
Yeah, who's the real op?
Who's the real ops? And you're gonna have all that smoke for the real enemy in that day.
Right.
So he threw, but the thing about it is the race war was right after like that second coming scene.
Right.
But it's supposed to be the other way around. The race war gonna happen right before the second coming of Yahweh. Is going to segue into the second coming of Yahweh.
Right.
And there's like a pre-race war going on already. Case in point, Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
Brothers getting tired of these Edomites putting your damn knives into their chest. You know what I'm saying? So before Smoke kills off the last the Grand Dragon Klansman, before he tells them, look, I got money.
Right.
How much you want? Right, and that's symbolic to Esau. You're not going to buy your way out of judgment.
Right.
Right. And the parable of the rich man and Lazarus the beggar too. In the parable, the rich man says, "Can I go back?" Or I'm paraphrasing. Can I go back and be forgiven?
Right.
In other words, Esau got that spirit like, can I pay for redemption? Or can I go back and change what I did? No, it's too late.
Right.
Esau. It's too late. Your judgment is already sealed. It'll tell you that in the Apocrypha. You're not gonna be able to stop. You're not gonna be able to do nothing to stop the judgment of the wicked.
Right.
Just like in Acts, there was a man that tried to buy the Holy Spirit from Peter.
Right.
And Peter was like, "You can't buy the Spirit with money."
Right.
And just like Esau, you can't buy your way out of judgment. You can't say, "Go back to slavery and we won't put you in slavery no more." It's too late. It's already done. So he tried to tell him that, and again, he represented the Grand Dragon, Grand Wizard, or the Grand Lord of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
So he was that top symbolism of evil.
Right.
You know, alluding to Satan. And he said, before Satan's kingdom is destroyed, can I buy my way out of you killing me? Or Esau, can you buy your way out of judgment? No, you cannot.
Right.
And that's Job, the 20th chapter. He hath swallowed down riches and shall give them up again. In these last days, when all hell break loose, Esau going to be trying to give us stuff.
Yeah.
Just like when we spoiled the Egyptians coming out of Egypt, when they saw they firstborn killed and everything, they was like, get these niggas everything they want.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop. That didn't stop the Lord from
yeah.
drowning them in the Red Sea. That still didn't stop the Lord from delivering us out of Egypt.
Right.
Right. So he tried to tell Smoke, how much money you want?
Yeah.
You can't. There's nothing you can do to redeem yourself out of your judgment.
Right.
Right. So fast forward into another one of the endings. I'll let you speak on the ending of the ending.
Right.
But in a final scene, there's the sister that Smoke was dealing with.
Right.
She's real dark skinned. Right. She's dressed in white, and she's breastfeeding the baby. Right. And there's a beautiful background. Right. That's the kingdom. God. Right. So after the race war, after the destruction and Yahweh return, we in the kingdom. God. Because she
what's the word? She prophesied that earlier. Right. She said, if something happened to me, kill me. Right. Because I got somebody waiting for me on the other side.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be free.
Yeah.
Now the baby and the woman represents the new kingdom. Yeah. But the baby can also represent Yahweh.
God, that could be Mary and
Smoke and her could be Mary and Joseph. Yeah. God. And the baby because she said, you want to hold him? Yeah. So we know it was a him, and the baby was kind of dark. And she was very dark. Right. So that could work both ways. That's like the kingdom, and that's symbolic to Mary and Joseph and Yahweh. Right. And the birth of Yahweh represents the kingdom. God. You know what I'm saying? So it's all symbolism in there. And then she was a beautiful black woman, very dark, with the all white on. The Most High tell us about the all white. The white represents the saints. Right. You know what I'm saying? And after everything was over, after the demons was conquered and killed and the sinners were destroyed by fire, then the kingdom of the Most High was set up. Right. Right. So sinners. Yes. That's all I got for now. Like I said, they're probably going to be 2.
Yeah, you could talk about this for a while. Yeah.
And everything.
I got to see it again too.
Everything that I just mentioned. Yeah. That's not counting the stuff I thought in my head. This is the stuff I put in my notes. Right. But I saw like 20 other things. Yeah. Probably 100 other things. So this is going to be ongoing. Yeah, yeah. Sinners. Now, I know you want to bring something out.
God, I'll bring a few. You covered it deliciously, and I'll bring a few points along the way that I stuck out my head. Not too much, but stuff that stuck out my head. I like the way the movie began because it had a little what they call a prologue, where the woman was describing giving you a format about what you're about to see. Right. And she was saying like as our people are, we have so many gifts of the spirit. We're the salt of the earth. Right. And then she said, this also attracts things. God. And you see, it was in drawings. It was in illustration. It wasn't live. And then the drawing of the red eyes. And that could go on a couple of things. It's like one way of interpreting that is they're attracted to our energy. Like our partying, our music, our slang, everything that they have, we invented it. We invented them. They came out of us. So they're attracted to, that'll always be the way until Yahweh Shai come back and this kingdom is over, that they'll always be attracted to us because they were attracted to that juke joint and attracted to that energy. That if you see how they were stirred up in that juke joint, that's symbolizing our energy, and that pulled them there. Why did they end up there out of any place? They can go kill up Edomites somewhere. Right. That energy was attracting them, and what she said that at the beginning. So that's my first thing. The second thing is
and Salakia, that too. When stuff going good amongst us, people, it can attract demons within our own. God. You always got that Judas nigga in the corner.
Yeah, God.
Right? Remember, to quote the movie Malcolm X, Malcolm said, even though the Nation of Islam wasn't the truth, but he said we had the best organization a black man ever seen. Right. And niggas ruined it. Because you had the Nation of Islam dudes working with the CIA. Right. You had
God,
Agents in
that's
there.
who killed Malcolm.
Them red eyes also represent
Yeah.
a demon nigga.
God.
Nigga lurking. Like, even our people sometimes, it's too good for them.
Yeah.
Niggas, you know, like Tyler Perry said in his movie, you black people are so used to things going wrong.
Yeah.
You don't know when something's going right.
Right.
You gotta sabotage it and mess it
God.
up. So that can also
When
symbolize
something
that
right
too.
happens, you think it's wrong.
Right,
It
right.
feel weird because
Right.
it's going good. We seen them. We don't even want to get into that.
wanna get into
Yeah,
that,
that's
yeah.
going down a rabbit hole.
H.O.I. alone.
Yeah. I ain't gonna bet you. I ain't gonna go there.
Right. We ain't gonna go there.
We ain't gonna go there. But that's the first thing. So I loved how it began. I was like, oh, this about. As soon as I knew it was gonna be good anyway.
Right.
But when that setup happened, I'm like, oh, this about to be good. If they getting into that, like it attracts something. I'm like, it's about to be good. The other scene shortly after that sticks out to me is when he had the scratches. They don't show. I didn't watch nothing about this movie, so I didn't know. I wanted to watch it clean.
Right.
So I didn't even know what them scratches represented. He had the scratches across his face. The character Sammy.
Sammy, yeah.
Sammy had the 3 scratches across his face. When he got up in the church, I think that was his pops, the preacher,
Right.
a man named Saul Williams. He's an actor and an artist. And he had the guitar neck in his hand. He said it was broken, but it was just the guitar neck. He said, put it down, like he wouldn't let it go. And then it goes into the movie. And he tells you that he brings that scene up later about how holding the guitar neck. He said, let it go. It's going into historical stuff like back then. The movie takes place in the 30s. And back then, all that blues music, that was considered to be devil music.
Right.
Because you got Robert Johnson, one of the original guys that he's probably based off that. He said he made a deal with the devil that all his music will be remembered forever.
Right.
But he didn't know that the trick was to Robert Johnson is he died poor.
Right.
He said that there's a lore about that. Like the devil tricked him, said, "Oh, I'm going to make your music big and famous, but you ain't gonna have nothing."
Right.
So the devil tricked Robert Johnson, one of the original blues guys.
Right,
That
right,
Esau reveres him. That's another thing about their track. You ask the average Jake who Robert Johnson is, they not going to know. You ask one of these Edomites that know about music and stuff, oh yeah, that's the blues guy. He going to tell you all about him.
Right.
So Esau is attracted to that more than we are, you know?
Right.
So that's going into another thing. But that's the second thing. The actress, the other thing is that the white actress, Haley, her name is Haley Steinfeld, Amalek.
Right.
And she came in, out of all the women actresses they choose, they got an Amalekite, Haley Steinfeld. They put her in a side note, she's playing a biracial woman. She says she got black in her.
Right.
And that's true. She in her the real actress,
Right.
she got on her mother's side, I think she got a black grandmother.
Right.
So that's true. That's why she get them looks. Her best looks is coming from that side. That's why they casted her on purpose because of that. She's Amalek through her father, but there's some Eve somewhere on her mother's side.
Right.
So she got the beauty from Eve. But that's just a side note of why they casted her. And you covered it, how the woman got into the mix, and how she's the one that really set things off, because she's the one that the vampire first bit. Then of course the other scene that is the Gad. I knew Gad was on some righteous mission. Once I seen that he was on fire.
Right.
When he went, Gad was chasing him. He went to the house, and the Edomites had the guns. They thought it was an intruder. And then Gad came later and said, you know, this guy's running. Once I saw him on fire, I'm like, yeah, that's a demon. What it was, just a little tidbit in the movie, the sun was still up. So he was running from the sun. He was running from the light.
Right.
And the other guy told him, he said, yo, forget it, because he knew the sun was going down.
Right.
So once the sun go down, he's back powerful again.
Right.
So as long as the sun was up, the Gadites had their strength. And the sun, the light can represent the Most High's divine glory.
Right.
Like, that's what the law about vampires is. They can't be in sunlight.
Right.
The light just represents God.
Right.
The light is God's light.
Right.
Satan exists where the Most High's light doesn't shine.
Right.
So that's why the Lord is there. So that was powerful. Another thing is, when they came to the juke joint, if you notice, they were singing a song, and they were singing some polite song. Just like the devil, they're singing some little soft song, and you know, can we get in now? And Eve was like, nah, we don't trust you. You know, If Esau had directed that, they would have made it look soft. It's like there's so many things to break down this movie. They stood strong. They didn't submit to Esau. Okay, that's white people. They're like, no, we don't believe in racial. We believe in harmony. They would say, a paraphrase of what they said. Like, no, we don't want you in there. And another way, they would have probably let them in, you know, but they kept them out. That goes into another law about the vampires. You do not invite them. I told this on the story with that woman that got shot with the hot water. You don't invite a vampire into your house because they'll kill you. And they stuck to that trope in the movie because they were asking to come in, and he said, no, you can't come in his house. Why didn't they just bum rush the door? Because you have to invite them in first. And that's in scriptural, because they said the devil, only the way the devil can operate in your life is if you let him in. Satan can only operate in, I can't, what is the script? It's like, I can't remember how it goes, but the devil can tempt you, but he can't make you do it. Yeah, your power, resist the devil and he will flee.
Yeah, he will flee.
Yeah. So they were resisting them, they flee because they resisted him. It's only when the Edomite went out. So they did resist the devil and he did flee. They did walk away. And they said, we're going to walk slowly just in case you change your mind. So, of course, the Edomite woman goes out there and she gets dealt, and then she comes back in. And she kills the twin, one of the twins, and turns them evil. Like Edomite women will do. Will turn Jake evil. Another overall thing I wanted to say, the movie is called Sinners. And you made the righteous comparison about the dynamics of all what they represent as biblical figures, but in totality of the movie, nobody is truly all good in the movie. Everybody got evil in them. There's no character, you know, sometimes they have a character in these movies that's benevolent. That character's all good. There's not one. Every main character in this movie had evilness in them. So that was representative of how on this earth, we're in Satan's kingdom, and none of us can be pure. We're filthy rags. So just like they're all having sex with each other, they're all doing little nasty stuff, drinking. Jake was an alcoholic. Delroy Lindo's character, he was always drunk in the movie. So
Sammy committed adultery.
Yeah, Sammy committed. So they're showing you in the movie, like, these are good people that are righteous side to them. But everybody got dirt on them. Everybody's a sinner, even though they're fighting evil. And other thing that attracted the evil. So I noticed that in totality of the movie. Another powerful part in the movie was when the character of Cornbread, he went out, and then he came back, and that benevolent Eve, she didn't trust it. You would think in a regular movie they probably would have distrusted why didn't they trust Cornbread? Cornbread went to pee, and then they got him, and the Eve was like, nah. Another scene where he's like, yo, why don't you just let me in? He said, you never. He said, you usually would just come. You never asked permission. He asked permission. Can you come in? That's when she knew. She was like, nah, that's not Cornbread, because that's another thing the devil was asking permission. Can I come in? And they said, no. So they knew from then that he was one of them. Lastly, towards the end, I'll winding it down. When they're fighting at the end, towards the end, when he said, you brought this up. He said, yo, why don't you just join us? You don't got nothing here. And that goes into how it is now and how it's going to be. That's a real powerful one. The devil is tempting them. Look around you. When we in nuclear fallout, you're going to be tempted to turn against the Most High. The very elect is going to be tempted. That's that very elect spirit. Because Edomite, hypothetically speaking, let's say it's getting bad here. There's no food. You're going to have the devil come in. Just join this witchcraft. You're going to get power with us. Look around you. And a lot of our people are going to get seduced. Even in the truth, out the truth. And that was a big scene when he said, you don't got nothing. Because they're thinking like, you might as well join us. You're niggers here. Look at us. We're all different races together, and we're powerful. We live forever. So that was a big part. At the end ended real beautiful. I can't just to let me back off what you said about the to let me back off what you said about that was one of the biggest scenes when they had when the sister was narrating, they were dancing, and then they threw in the modern stuff. They threw in rappers.
Right.
It's an old movie in the 30s, but they had it. They was just depicting where all of our energy is creating this. We are the creators of hip hop. We're the creator. The guy had a rock guitar. We're creators of the rock music, and within that there's evil. So they're showing you a lot of things that they're showing you two different things. We're the creators of this, but evil can exist in this too. Causing us to sin can exist in this, to be sinners. Like the preacher man, he was the holiest one. I scratched that. Saul. The father represented God at the beginning. He said, let it go, let it go. That's like God telling you, let all this demonic music go, let it go. So that was a big part of that movie. At the end, I love how it fast forwards to he lived. The character, one of the two, Sammy lived. And he had the scratches on his face, and you can see in the poster that now that becomes his trademark. There were scratches, so you can surmise that he probably told a story about that happening, and he became really big in the blues world until an old man. And then it went deep, because very end, spoiler alert if you ain't seen it, but we already said that. The two characters come back. His brother came, the demonic brother came back with the Edomite woman in 1992. So that means they never died. They're vampires. They have immortality. And they sat next to him, and they're like, yo, you old now. You sure you don't want to get down with this? You know, you can live forever. And it goes to show you how the spirit works. They put $200 down, and then they bounce. And he said, yo, the best day, Sammy said the best day was before that happened. He said that was the best day of his life. In other words, evil meeting good. Like the best day he ever had was that day before the night fell, before the sunset. They had the juke joint going. In other words, life was his best right then, and the devil met them right where it was going, as he does. Soon as something good is about to happen, he comes in. So that was deep. That was deep. But it was deep that they didn't kill him, because I think are they going to kill him? Because he's an old man. They let him live. I guess Satan was like, you old, we don't need you. We just gonna walk away. You're about to die in soon anyway. And the movie basically ends like that. But after the credits, they have that one last scene. So the one last scene is him back young again, Sammy Young. He's playing his guitar. He says, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna make it shine." There's nothing. I knew something was coming at the end credits. It's subtle. He just his younger version of his character is singing "This Little Light of Mine." That's Ryan Coogler. That's a director's choice. Putting it in there, like you could use that instrument for good, because that's a spiritual song. This little light of mine. So the very last scene at the end credit scene is basically them showing you that good is always bigger than evil. Like even with that instrument that caused so much evil to come. Like the preacher said, Saul Williams, the father character that was the minister of the church, he said, put it down. At the end, they show you still holding it, that he could also sing a song that's praising the Most High through the song. So that's, to me, I interpret that as Ryan Coogler said, we do it in camp. You do it as a teacher. Let's end it with a scripture. Let's end it with something good. So they ended it like there. So that's what I said. He's like, we're not going to show the demon get the last word. Let the Most High get the last word. So that's my quick take. We're going to bring about this many times for a while. Yeah. So that's my take on sinners. We'll talk about it more. I'm sure stuff I'm missing, but forget it. We'll talk about it.
When they came, the first scene after the credits, when he came back with the Edomite woman, that's what I'm saying, that kind of represented that music industry.
Right.
Because he was saying, listen, it's kind of like Jake with underground rap or independent. Remember a lot of like Too Short and them guys, they'll tell us stories how they were selling tapes out of their car. And this and that, and they might have been doing shows here and there. And then Esau come with the major contract. But that's when you gotta sell your soul. So And it also show you that Satan to keep trying
Yeah.
all the way up to the very end.
Right, right.
Because the man is old and
Yeah,
about to
yeah,
die.
right.
He's like, you
You
sure you don't want?
Yeah.
He put $200 down.
Yeah.
And he got the ring that says stack.
Right,
So-
right.
And that was from 1992.
Right.
He had the Gucci sweater on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of symbolic to like that, like a record executive.
Right, right.
You know, a rich Negro record executive.
Yeah.
He got an
And there was a
Edomite
record
woman.
called Stax Records.
Right, and he got an Edomite woman.
Yeah.
So he's still trying to get him. He's like, damn, you famous, you got a name, but I could really take you to
Yeah,
the higher.
yeah, God.
Come on, man, you older now.
Yeah.
So Satan gonna try down
To the end,
higher, to
yeah.
the end. And that goes into that could be a whole plot of the movie.
Right,
that
right.
whole music thing.
Right.
You said with Robert Johnson. I know about Robert Johnson.
Yeah.
He told the devil, I'll give you my soul.
Yeah.
I just want my music to be out there.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I had a book on him.
Right.
Right? Years ago. I had a book on him years ago, right?
Right.
Paraphrasing. But that's what I was the next to the ending scene.
Right.
Because I think Ryan Coogler was trying to show, watch out for that music
Yeah,
industry.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jake, you got all this talent. You can play instruments.
Right.
You can rap. That's why he mixed in the rap and all the different
Right.
forms of music also.
Right.
Because he's like, yo, you got all this talent, but Satan
It's
trying to
disruptive.
come for you,
Yeah.
Right? Right. You got all this talent, but
Right.
Right. You got all this talent,
Yeah.
but Satan will come for you.
Right,
Like,
right.
Like kind of a cautionary tale, like you guys be careful, man.
Right.
Because, and even the ending scene, even when Sammy
Right.
told him,
I was like, I'll be there tomorrow morning. I love you.
Sammy told him, nah, he basically told him, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And if you look at it, it kind of looked like he developed like an underground following.
Right, right.
And Stax represented that major
Yeah.
record label industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to come like, you sure you don't want to make this deal?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that happened with some people like, yo,
Right.
I stayed independent.
Right.
There was a brother, an artist, he had like 2 hit songs, but he was a feature.
Right.
He was a feature, and we met him in Times Square. I won't say the brother's name. He was
Right.
a little known, because both of the songs he was on was hits.
Right.
He was a backup. He had like a feature on it.
Right.
Right, but he said, listen, I know I can sing, I know I'm talented.
Right.
And he said, listen, all I gotta do today or tomorrow is go to Sony Music,
Right.
go into the executive's office and bend over.
Right.
He's like, damn, pause, brother.
Pause,
He's like,
yeah.
nah. He said, all I gotta do is go bend over, I could be the next Michael Jackson. He said, I know I'm talented.
Right.
And I didn't know who the brother was, but he named the 2 songs he was on. I knew the songs.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's you singing, buddy? He said, yeah. Both of the songs were popular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn. He said, yeah, but he said, I refuse to do that.
Right.
He said, I'll just sing. I'll make my little money off these singles. I'll continue to sing in these little clubs and stuff.
Right.
He said, I'll tour sometime. He said, a lot of the major artists hire me as a backup singer.
Right.
But he's like, I don't want to be mainstream if I got to bend over.
Right.
So Coogler kind of threw that element in
Right.
there too. Purposely, or, you know, it just
Yeah.
panned out that way.
Right.
That it's like you got to be careful with that industry.
Right.
Y'all got all this talent. Y'all got the blues. Y'all got hip hop. Y'all got R&B. Y'all got all this. I think even a reggae element was thrown.
Yeah,
in. When they was all partying.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I seen like dreads and stuff.
Right.
But you gotta be careful because this industry will suck you in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then at the end, this little light of mine.
Yeah.
Ended out on a righteous note.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's straight from the camp style. Like let's end it with a scripture, you know,
And
because they didn't let the
that's
devil. Yeah, yeah,
That's Yahweh said, let your light shine before the
yeah.
world.
It's like I'm gonna let the Lord get the last word, you know.
God.
Yeah, yeah. I was as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, he didn't want to end it. Because usually in a lot of the movies, when they have that last scene, it's something off going to happen because it's going to be a part 2.
Right.
They'll have a monster pop up. So I said, where they going with this? I thought a vampire or something. But he just said it, he made it good at the end. So that was beautiful that he ended it like that. Oh, one more quick thing. Even, about them being twins, Michael B. Jordan playing 2 characters. It can also be an undertone of Esau and Jacob, even though
I thought about that.
even though they're of course twins are the same, they're both black, but one turned evil first.
Right.
So it was that Esau and Jacob when he was you saw the demon he was trying to get to or convince. He said, "Yo, fuck that, come join me." You know.
Right,
So it wasn't direct Esau and Jacob, but it's that twin dynamic.
That duality.
That duality, yeah.
Yeah, he's symbolic to a lot of times Esau use our own people to get.
Yeah.
He'll use somebody closest to you.
Yeah.
To try to lure you in.
And of course, Cain and Abel, two brothers.
Cain and Abel,
Yeah,
you know
it had the brother, the twins. It was like a undertone of a combination of Cain and Abel, who are brothers, and one slew the other, and then Esau and Jacob, they were twins.
That's that Quincy Jones spirit.
Right.
Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Wrote, but
Tevin Campbell.
He was a Jake.
Yeah.
You know, so he's our people.
Yeah.
But Esau in the music industry
Exactly.
used him.
Right.
They turned his ass out, and then who knows how many he buck broken.
Right. Tevin Campbell.
So a lot of times they'll come through your own people.
Right.
That twin represents Esau, who use your own people closest to you.
Right.
Or you address the devil himself.
Right.
The devil will come through the people closest to you. Yo, come on, man.
Right.
That's like Jake. Like Jake don't want to join the game.
Right.
And nigga just keep pressuring.
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
man.
Come on, son. Get
It's like,
down.
yo, this my man.
Yeah.
We're up together, but yo, come on, son. Or a lot of brothers I know. Yo, nigga, why you working on that stupid
Right.
ass job? Come get this money with me, man.
Right.
Niggas making $5,000 a week. You making what, $12
Right.
an hour? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times Satan will come through your own closest, damn near somebody as closest to you as a twin
A
brother.
twin.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't even have to be Esau. A demon just coming up
Right.
to try to destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
So H.O.I. movie commentary, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, The Sinners.
God, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
Good. So with that, Pri Sabak, H.O.I. to the chariots fly, only screaming if you mean it.
Brother Nala.
Brother Nala on the camera, a new updated movie review. Salakia, y'all that haven't been one for a while, but this is an excellent comeback.
This is a good
This
comeback.
definitely come back in.
Good.
We'll hit y'all over the summer if anything else comes out. Hit y'all with 1 or 2 more, maybe 2 or 3 more over the summer, going into the fall to keep the movie reviews going. But a lot of stuff wasn't really coming out like that.
Yeah.
Really interested, but this is a great comeback.
Yeah,
Spring of
God.
2025.
Has that Django Unchained spirit.
Now, this is a heavy comeback, God.
Yeah.
Like Django and Chain, God.
God.
So all praise to the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua. Enjoy the review. Add your comments and what you saw.
Right.
Please don't make simple comments like, "Well, you forgot this."
You brother didn't talk about
and
this.
I didn't mention this. And
Yeah.
You guys totally forgot that.
That's for you. That's for you.
You can
Yeah.
put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Or you can do your commentary.
Right.
Right. Like Martin said. Now your kid is coming
Yeah,
out.
God.
So you don't make comments like that.
Right.
Or don't watch 2 minutes of the commentary and say they didn't go into how the vampires is the death. You didn't watch the damn commentary.
Right. You watched 2 minutes.
You watched 2 minutes of the y'all forgot this though, please. All right. So just put your comments, give your insight, scripture, insight, whatever you want to add up in there, and let's break this movie down throughout the next couple of months into the spring and the summer. It's
God.
gonna be interesting. Gonna be talked about. Sinners by Shema Mashiach. Another H.O.I. movie commentary, signed, sealed, and delivered.
God.
H.O.I. to them chariots fly, Pri Sabak.
Brother Nala.
Kwame Ashala, we still got next. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua. Shalom. Kwame Ashala. Good.